Columbus, Ohio. We're at the Cavelli Center for more Big Ten Women's Gymnastics. It's the second big Quad Four. We have one more after this one as Nebraska, Ohio State, Rutgers, and number 3 UCLA, led by Jordan Childs, ready to roll right here on the Big Ten Network. UCLA can clinch a regular season title if they win the Big Ten Quad. You see the story for Rutgers, Ohio State, and Nebraska. And good afternoon. Always great to be with the superstar Olivia Karras. And speaking of superstars, there'll be plenty on display today.
This is a great competition. UCLA coming in undefeated in conference play. But Ohio State, Nebraska, and Rutgers have been very impressive in their last couple of competitions. So anything can happen. It is gymnastics.
All right, who needs to step up for each team? We'll start with the home team, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And they are led by a name we know well. That is Tori Vetter. She is a redshirt junior, career-high all-around 39.575, the team's leading scorer, competing in the all-around in every meet. Leads by example, and they need that today. Nebraska's Emma Spence has left her mark not only on Nebraska, but on gymnastics. Such an outstanding athlete from top to bottom. What makes her special truly is her love for the sport that oozes when she competes. Rutgers is led by a youngster, and that's Delaney Adrian, the freshman, helping the Scarlet Knights, their 6th best program record score last weekend. She is the lone all-around competitor. She is a key contributor for this team. And a name we all know well, Jordan Childs, the #1 gymnast in the NCAA on floor. I like to call her the Chief Energy Officer. She needs to bring that today for the Bruins to bring home the regular season title.
Great job, Olivia Karras, as we take a look at the coaches leading these 4 teams. We'll start with UCLA. Janelle McDonald in her 3rd year. Great story. Started coaching when she was 17 years old. Now finds herself leading one of the premier programs in the country. The host, Ohio State coach Meredith Polisivic, now in her 8th season leading the Buckeyes, and has made that team pretty consistent. For Nebraska, Heather Brink, 7th season as the head coach, 14 overall, former NCAA national champion at her alma mater, Nebraska. And then for Rutgers, their acting head coach, Anastasia Candia. There's Anastasia, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. It's our 2nd Quad 4. We had one yesterday from Maryland. I thought it was fantastic.
Couldn't agree more. This is the first time many of these teams are seeing each other this season, as the teams competing in this quad haven't competed against each other in regular season play. And it's always so fun seeing your fellow Big Ten competitors, and many of these gymnasts haven't competed against UCLA before unless in postseason. So it's really nice to bring them into this tradition of the Big Four competition.
We always want to see perfect 10s, but it's hard because of the deductions.
And this is a subjective sport, but this is what the judges are following. Anything that has to do with execution, flexed feet, bent legs, legs crossed while twisting, are deductions. It's sufficient split. We'll see that on balance beam and floor exercise can be up to 2 tenths. Wobbles on beam up to 3 tenths. A fall is a flat half point. That's 5/10 deduction. On the landing, steps and hops can be a 10th for foot movement. So anytime a foot moves, that could be up to 1/10, obviously a 10th per step. Holding your landing positions, the judges want to see control. When you land anything at the end of your routine, you want to show that you've landed it, hold, put your heels together for 2 seconds and salute. And then finally on floor exercise, if you step out of bounds, that is a flat 1/10 deduction.
Take a look at the rankings for the 4 teams on the different apparatus. UCLA ranked in the top 7 nationally in all 4 events. You see Rutgers pretty good on the beam. The Buckeyes solid on the ball and floor. Nebraska 16th on the beam.
UCLA, you see they're ranked in the top 10 on everything. Certainly are the heavy favorites in this competition, but as we mentioned in the open, I've been impressed lately with Nebraska, Ohio State, and Rutgers, specifically Rutgers with their sixth highest program record score last weekend. They're on the rise, and they're putting together full competitions. Could today be the day where they really bring it together?
Remind everybody, all 4 rotations will be going on. We'll do 2 at a time, vault and bars together, then beam and floor. It'll be Rutgers starting on the vault, Nebraska starting on the bars. Ohio State hits the beam, and UCLA with their showstoppers on the floor.
And that concludes our judges. Please take control of your events. It is on
Final huddles. Lisa Chavert with a 9.775 season high and career high. Will be first to go for the Scarlet Knights. For Nebraska, Sophia McClellan, 9.875 career high. Had a 9.715 last week. Valley Center holds 3,700, and much like when the Big Ten championships were here at the Valley, Olivia Karras, I don't see too many open seats.
I love to see it. Fill those seats. Sophia leading off on bars for the Huskers. Very reliable athlete. Nice straddle Jaeger. Good amplitude. Beautiful bail handstand connection. Feet were glued together. That's what the judges are looking for. Solid final handstand, showing that perfect position on the high bar. And a rock-solid start for the Skurs. Stuck landing on that double layout. That's exactly what I'm talking about with these teams that have been improving. Love to see that from Sophia. This is exactly the view the judges are seeing it from, so really nice to see what they're looking at, and there was no movement on those feet.
Senior transfer from BYU, McClellan with a good start. Still waiting for Lisa Chavert. On the vault, Emily Lee will be first to go for UCLA on the floor with a career high of 9.9. For Ohio State will be Riley Guevara, 9.825. Here we go on the beam. There's Riley.
Riley is a freshman competing in this leadoff position. The leadoff on beam is arguably the most difficult and important position in gymnastics. Great grit there. Sizable wobble, certainly, but very important that she stayed on the balance beam.
Yeah, you talk about how important it is to lead off, and she is just a first-year athlete at Ohio State.
Great recovery. After the series, really nice recovery on her jumps. And here goes vault. Full twisting Yurchenko from Lisa Chavert. Good work on the opening vault. You did see that large hop backwards, which is a result of the pike and the hips on the vault. So with a maximum score of a 9.95, the judges will deduct for both the over-rotation and the hop. Completed routine from Riley. A hop back on the landing, but kudos to her for staying composed after that early wobble.
Wonderful first pass from Emily Lee.
They call her Emily Lead Off. She leads off the 3 events she competes. As we discuss leadoff performers, it's a really critical position for all rotations. Second pass for Emily, front layout to a front full, fulfilling her connection requirement, showing 2 saltos connected.
See Delaney Adrian featured in the open, 9.75 career high.
First look at a blind landing, a Yurchenko layout half. Blind landing means that she's landing where she can't see the ground before she lands. A lot of times athletes will be able to see their feet so they can spot the landing. So much more difficult than some of the other full vaults we've seen, and well done by Delaney.
Meredith Paula-Civic on your left. Emily Lee with her final pass.
Big double pike for Emily, an under-rotated landing. Looks like she just opened up a little early with hopes of sticking that last pass. Sometimes at the end of your routine, you're running out of juice, so you need to give it a little extra oomph, and nothing major, but the judges will deduct for the under-rotation.
Saw Meredith Paula-Civic with her final words there for Cameron Smith, another freshman, as the Buckeyes have had to overcome some injuries this year. And during the 8 years that Meredith Paula-Civic's been there, they have had, every team does, but it seems like she's had a little more, but they've been able to get over the hump.
I'm impressed with the freshmen on this young Ohio State's team. Lauren Holyfield has never actually competed in the bars lineup, so this is a big moment for her. Nice work so far. Shy of that last handstand. And a step back on the landing, but what a debut for her in the Huskers bar lineup. A historically difficult lineup to crack into with the amount of talent on that team.
Yeah, we'll see if her score is one of the top 5 as well. What a great way to be introduced.
Good work so far from Cameron Smith here on beam. Dismount, gainer full with a hop backward, but a solid routine. After that early wobble from Riley, Cam really brought it back.
Here's Macy McGowan on the floor for UCLA, and Anna Pagliaro for Rutgers with a 9.825 career high.
Full twisting Yurchenko here for Anna. Good job. Not quite stuck, but very minimal deduction, and Macy McGowan making it look easy over on the right.
High fives for Pagliaro.
Love this view. Exactly what the judges are seeing. You see a little leg separation on the pre-flight and a pike down with that hop backward. So that's a perfect view for you gym fans out there that are wondering, what exactly did we see that the judges missed? Well, that's exactly what they're looking at. That should be a great score for Anna.
McGowan, a freshman from Seattle. What a great way to start in Columbus.
This UCLA floor lineup is something special. Lovely 1.5 to a front full. Very difficult combination pass to complete at the end of the routine. And Macy is just hitting the seam brilliantly to no one's surprise.
Isabel Sycon, third to go for Heather Brink and Nebraska. Again, they're ranked 19th in the nation on the bars. They'll be on the right. Grace Walker getting ready to go for the Ohio State Buckeyes on the beam.
Isabel has been incredibly solid for the Huskers this season on bars. Great job working through that connection. Caught the release move close to the bar. Really had to work to get over on the shoot over. But that connection dismount was great. Blind full into a double tuck. Stuck landing. And speaking of great, Grace Walker, solid so far in this balance beam routine. Great job working through. You saw her arms continue to move through the front aerial into the beat jump. That's what the judges are keeping their eyes out for, to make sure the athlete is completing movement. Another look here at Isabel Sycon's bar dismount. Great job getting on top of the bar on the blind full. And when we talk about spotting the landing, you can see her eyes see the mat.
Emma Malapuyo, they call her Boo, with a 9.95 career high on the floor for UCLA.
Good dismount there from Grace Walker looked like she just rushed a little bit to stand up and had to take 2 minimal steps, so the judges will deduct for that. But if you like Bruno Mars, then this routine from Emma Malabuyo is for you.
Who doesn't like Bruno Mars? Weird.
I saw that on the table. Looks like she just came onto the table high, which means she didn't get the perfect pop off for the right height and distance for a 0 deduction landing. And that happens sometimes when you're a little nervous. You tend to rush it, and it looks like that's what happened for Aaliyah Aird, the score that Rutgers will want to drop.
How much fun is Emma having on the floor?
Final pass from Emma, 1.5 front layout, beautiful work. An absolute ball. These routines just make me want to dance. I love them.
UCLA was in Ann Arbor, 11,000 plus there for that. They draw big crowds. I was talking to Coach McDonald, and I referenced that Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman said, no, we're Hollywood, we're Showtime, we're Magic Johnson in the game.
Emma Simpton, good work so far in this routine. Little arm bend on her bail handstand connection, but kept very tight in her body position. A big hop back on the landing, but I adore watching Emma Simpton swing bars. Her lines are excellent.
On beating for the Buckeyes,
Simpton has a career high of 9.9. Not sure if she'll get that. Tori Vetter now on the beam for the Buckeyes.
Talked about Tori in the open. She really has been so critical for the Buckeyes this season. The lone all around her competing, and has had a little trouble on balance beam this season, which is unusual for her. Nice to see her rock solid there on her opening connection.
Shay Campbell, wonderful choreography. This started for UCLA.
She likes to call this routine her audition for dancing. Hopefully be a backup dancer for Missy Elliott. She can tumble too, in case you missed that. That was a perfect 0 deduction landing on a difficult E opening pass. And E pass is the most difficult rated skill in college gymnastics. Brilliant work from Tori Vetter. That's why she is the leading scorer for the Bucks. Well done.
The energy for the big quad. Incredible. Rachel Riley ready to go for Rutgers with a 9.825 career high.
First look at a 10-0 start value vault from Rachel. Yurchenko 1.5 with a hop forward. I did see some softness in her knees, which is an execution deduction the judges will look for, but love to see that difficulty from Rachel. Final pass for Shea, big double tuck. Brilliant landing, kept that front foot planted and a controlled lunge backward. The judges will love that one, as they did not have to write much down. So difficult to have the juice at the end of a routine with a performance quality like Shea, but check out the chest position perfectly up, which allowed her to control that landing, spot it, and perfect lunge backward.
Back to the bars we go. Whitney Jenks with a career high of 9.9.
Gorgeous opening combination for Whitney. She is having a true breakout season. Just the dismount here, a double layout to a stuck landing. That was fantastic. She has no built-in deductions, and what that means is no natural leg bend. Her toes are always pointed. Her body position is just perfect. See here, she lets go of the bar for the dismount, sees the toes, and hangs on, tight body position on the landing, shows control. That should be a massive score for the Huskers.
Meanwhile, for the Buckeyes on the beam, when Mason Rader woke up today, I don't think she knew she was going to be in the lineup, but she is, the sophomore from Connecticut, on the beam for the Buckeyes. And then on the right, Brooklyn Moores, unbelievable on the floor for the Bruins.
Backhand swing layout, step out, rock solid for Mason. Beautiful side aerial. Beauty is encompassed on the right for Brooklyn Moores. Opening pass. Front double twist to a punch front. Minimal shuffle there on the landing. But enjoy this performance.
At some point, Brooklyn will be walking on the ceiling of the Covelli Center. Really impressed with the way Mason stepped in there.
That was well done. Just the dismount here for Mason Rader. Saw that pipe down a little bit coming into it, which resulted in the hop back. But for someone who didn't know she was competing beam today, that is impressive. Final
Gabby Dildy with a 9-9 career high, just hit the ball for Rutgers.
Just a hop back on the landing for her, but an overall well-executed vault. Good position, just a little leg separation on the pre-flight. Pristine Rudy to finish the routine for Brooklyn. She truly is in a league of her own in performance quality, elegance in her gymnastics, mixing difficulty and strength with elegance is so difficult, and Brooklyn has a true doctorate in that program. Beautiful job, controlled lunge. The facial expressions are so inviting, just beautiful.
The middle pass she does is remarkable. There have been no 9-9 scores yet. I think there may be one for Moores, and there could be one for Emma Spence with a 9.975 career high, now competing for the Cornhuskers.
Difficult sequence there. Everything was connected back up to the high bar. Blind full into the double top. Stuck landing. That blind full ended a little bit over off handstand, so the judges are looking for the turning elements to finish right on top of the bar, but there was not much else to deduct in that routine from the great Emma Spence.
I'm going to miss her, Emma Spence. She's been outstanding. On the right, the Olympian, Jordan Childs.
From Jojo Warga in this routine. And a miss there. It looks like she struggled to take off in the proper position and didn't hit a split, so hopefully she'll add one in to not receive it up to the level deduction. Are we shocked that she knows how to find the camera?
Nope.
She really worked hard power and really remained tight in her core to minimize any additional over-rotation. But that entire UCLA floor lineup is a gift to us all.
Including Brooklyn Moores with a 9.95 on the floor. As the first athlete to go above 9.9, she went way above it, and I think we'll see a similar score for Jordan Childs and UCLA. Nebraska, by the way, at 49.2 on bars, above their season average of 49.091. And here, as we wait for Childs' score, that's what the rest of the team did. Shea Campbell with that 9.85, 2 9.875s.
I thought that 9.85 for Shea Campbell was a little low in my personal opinion, but the 9.95 for Brooklyn's Morris was spot on. Looking forward to what the judges do with Jordan's routine.
UCLA, incredible to witness, including Jordan Childs. One rotation, a 9.950 for Jordan. Rotation number 2 when we return.